I think we have very good reason to believe that there is an investigation that has been conducted which has produced evidence that tells us that this president and his administration engaged in obstruction of justice. I believe Congress should take the steps towards impeachment.
For the next year and a half, going right into the heart of the election, all that the Congress is talking about is impeaching Trump and Trump and Mueller. And we're not talking about health care. We're not talking about raising the minimum wage to a living wage. We're not talking about combating climate change. We're not talking about sexism and racism and homophobia and all of the issues that concern ordinary Americans. What I worry about is that works to Trump's advantage.
That's for Congress to work out. I'm pretty sure he deserves to be impeached, but Congress will have to figure out procedurally what to do.
I think it would be perfectly reasonable for Congress to open up those proceedings, and it's clear that Bob Mueller and his report left that in the hands of Congress.
There is no political inconvenience exception to the United States Constitution.
No, there isn't. I'm Barry Gordon.
And I'm Andre Coleman.
And this is NewsRap, live at 5. So you were kind of waiting for that, weren't you?
Yep. Waiting for it. Waiting for it. And you know why.
You talked about it last week.
And actually, we announced last week that she had moved to that position.
Yes.
We're talking about Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren had, but I don't think anyone else had yet.
But last week, I said I had the feeling that Congress at some point would move towards impeachment, or the Democrats, with this president. It seems that seems to be the case, that they are headed, or still moving in that direction. Have you changed your opinion because you weren't sure?
I think they, I don't know if they're moving toward it. I mean, I think they've always been moving toward it.
Okay.
Because I think that these investigations aren't just in a vacuum. I think that they're trying to get their, their I's dotted and their T's crossed.
The ducks in a row.
Yeah. But now Trump has basically said, you can go hang, basically, is what he said.
He said a lot more than that, it seems.
And so they're not going to be able to do it, I don't think, without an impeachment inquiry. Now, I'm still hearing people say, I'm hearing Congress people say, well, we're going to keep our investigations, and there are tools we have, and we can do contempt of Congress on the witnesses, and we can do this, and we can do that. And by the time you do that, this beard is going to be down to here. Yeah. and the election will be upon us, and no one will want to do anything. So my feeling is that when Trump did that, and I think this is your feeling too, he kind of pushed us several steps down the road toward impeachment.
Through his own idiocy or plan.
He might want
He may think this is the best thing for me. It will rally the base.
Yeah, that's right.
But through his own idiocy or plan, he has probably moved the Democrats closer to impeaching him than they've ever been before, because he's pretty much, they have no other options.
Yeah, he might have.
To bring these people before Congress.
I'm glad to see that your candidate, Harris, has jumped on the bandwagon. That's
okay.
That's good.
I'll take it.
She didn't start the bandwagon.
I'll take it. I'll take it as a bandwagon.
It.
I'll take it as a bandwagon for right now.
It's a little bandwagon. I thought that Sanders' answer, and I like Bernie, but I just thought it was a terrible answer because he's missing the point.
Best answers.
And I went to school and I studied political science. And I know that if you don't protect the Constitution, you have nothing.
Right. Well,
you have absolutely nothing in this country.
That's the entire duty
of
every elected official, even down to city council.
That's right.
The oath calls on you to protect the Constitution, state and federal.
That's right.
But there's already a comment.
Oh, okay. Who we got? We got from Jamie.
Can they get 2/3 votes in the Senate?
See, that's great, but is that the issue?
That's not the issue.
And that's what we're together on that.
That's not the issue.
That is not the issue.
Let me explain this one to you.
But I go ahead, explain it, and then I might have an answer. But go ahead.
You don't necessarily impeach him to remove him from office. That would be great. However, what
They
you
didn't
want,
remove Nixon
they
through
never,
a trial. They
did
didn't
not.
have a Senate trial.
He resigned.
That's right.
And obviously Clinton beat it.
That's right.
What you want to do here is take his crimes and drop them in the laps of the American people and the Senate and say, pick a side.
Yeah. You want to have those hearings every day on television. You want to bring all of these witnesses up and let the American people make up their minds. Yep. And if they make up their minds the way, well, let's do Napolitano first, maybe.
Okay.
Because that was a shock. Fox News, legal analyst, judge, right? Andrew Napolitano had some things to say which were a little surprising. Can
Say
we
the
run the
station again.
Napolitano?
Fox News.
Fox News. Let's
So when
run
the
it.
president asked his former advisor and my former colleague at Fox, KT McFarland, to write an untruthful letter to the file knowing the government would subpoena it, that's obstruction of justice. When the president asked Corey Lewandowski, his former campaign manager, to get Mueller fired, that's obstruction of justice. When the president asked his then White House counsel to get Mueller fired and then lie about it, that's obstruction of justice. When he asked Don McGahn to go back to the special counsel and change his testimony, that's obstruction of justice. When he dangled a pardon in front of Michael Cohen in order to keep Cohen from testifying against him, that's obstruction of justice. Ordering them to break federal law to save him from the consequences of his own behavior, that is immoral, that is criminal, that is defenseless, and that is condemnable.
And that's the message that would be delivered through an impeachment inquiry to the Republican Senate.
And understand,
and
too,
then you challenge them the way Elizabeth Warren did
Let's
on
bring that up.
Saturday. Let's
And then I
bring
got
that
something I'm
up,
gonna
and
point
then
out.
we'll. Okay.
Emily, I took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, and so did everybody else in the Senate and in the House. And I believe that every person in the Senate and the House ought to have to vote and to say either, yeah, that's okay with me. Yeah, let a president just step in the way he did when he told the White House counsel to go fire Mueller, and then told the White House counsel to go lie about having told the White House counsel to go fire Mueller, and then told the White House counsel to write a letter saying that Donald Trump had not told him to go fire Mueller, and then to say, why on earth would you take notes about what I said to you? The lawyers I deal with never put anything in writing. If there are people in the House or the Senate who want to say that's what a president can do when the president is being investigated for his own wrongdoings, or when a foreign government attacks our country, then they should have to take that vote and live with it for the rest of their lives.
So there it is. Not only are you putting people on the record, but it's not Pelosi saying it.
Right.
It's not Schiff saying it.
Right.
You're asking his own staff to explain his actions.
That's right.
Did he ask you to lie? Did he ask you to fire Mueller?
Exactly.
So you get them to say it, the very people who work for him, and then you move it all to the Senate. Let the American people, it's an election.
And
so
let
tell
the-
me what my president's been doing.
And if you look at history, nobody thought that the Republicans were going to vote to remove Richard Nixon from office. Nobody thought they were going to do that. So it was the hearing. In that case, it was a select committee. It was the Senate that actually started. It was called the Watergate hearings, and the very fact of those hearings developed witnesses like John Dean, right? Mm-hmm. And ultimately a witness who just happened to mention that, oh yeah, there are tapes of these conversations, and that just happened in the hearing room. Right. It was like Perry Mason when someone gets up and says, I did it. I mean, no one expected that to happen.
The other big thing that came out of that was Nixon's own, well, I'll release my taxes. Mm-hmm. And then through Nixon trying to show how honest he was, the nation learned that Nixon had cheated on his taxes. So we don't know what's going on and what's out there until we get this going. 2 more comments.
Yeah. No, it's time. It is time. I think Gustav said, I think Bernie is just saying we waste a lot of time talking about it. It's free coverage that got Trump elected in the first place. Yes. And you know what? It may get him elected again. And you know what? That's not the point. The point is to protect the Constitution of the United States.
Period.
It is the duty of the Congress to do that. We have evidence that the President of the United States, credible evidence, that the President of the United States has committed crimes.
Multiple.
And the only reason the President of the United States is not in jail tonight is that the Department of Justice has a ruling that they cannot indict a sitting president.
So you'd be in jail.
I'd be in jail. You'd be in jail.
Nah, I would have hightailed it out of town a long time ago. Man, I'd have been in the car a long time ago.
Well, you probably wouldn't have run for president knowing all the crap that you do, you know. So.
What do you mean the crap that I do? What are you talking about?
I mean if you were Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about my crap. Well,
No,
ignore that.
I mean if you were Trump.
Jackie Robinson Baisley, 2020. Not a bad vote for me.
Yeah.
Jackie's talking about running for, are we talking about president or some other office? Jackie knows
What
what
are
I'm
you
talking
running
about.
for, Jackie?
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't it was Jamie, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, what is she running for?
But I see Jackie underneath it approving all that if you look over there to your right.
Ah.
So,
Yeah. So I think there's a chance,
Okay.
but I still don't know if they're ready. I think it's going to take one more push, and maybe Trump will supply that.
well, I think he's hell-bent on supplying it.
Yeah.
Either because he's an idiot or because he thinks that this will aid him somehow. Now, I noticed that when that Warren clip was on, kind of lit up a little bit. You did.
Oh, I like Warren.
But
I
last
really do.
week, you had moved to Buttigieg. Now,
I know.
Have you moved back to Warren?
I
What's going on?
like them both, and you know I'm going to be moving. I'm going to be moving.
But where are you
until
right now?
Probably July of 2020. But
Where are you right now?
Right now, I feel that Warren has, for me, a very full package.
Okay.
I, first of all, would like to see a woman president of the United States. I really would. So that checks that box. I think that she, with her background growing up in, where was it, Oklahoma, I think she can relate to working people as effectively as Bernie can, but she doesn't have a socialist label. She's just a good old-fashioned New Deal progressive, and I think that she'd be great. She's taken on the banks. She's taken on the corporations. She's strong with policy. She's done policy forever. You know, when people have come into hearings, she has challenged them with clarity. And she's a great speaker. She makes a great argument.
Can she relate to black people?
She has in the past. We'll see if she continues to. I mean, she had tremendous support in Massachusetts from the black community.
One of the things you're starting to see is candidates stumble in that area. I mean, Buttigieg, for all the rock star monikers that have been dropped on him, one of the criticisms have been that his rallies are not diverse.
Yeah.
And he's struggling with that. Bernie, just the other day, couldn't even get out of his own way when he was asked about racism. And he's name-dropping MLK, and the audience is booing him. Same problem he had last time. He can't figure it out. And he doesn't even have Simone Sanders this time. She's gone over to Biden.
That's that's a surprise.
And it is. And so I'm wondering why.
Yeah.
You know, that's a question in its own. But this right here is an
what
issue.
I read is he did not reach out to her to bring her back.
Oh, see, that's a bad move.
See, that's what I read.
That's a bad move.
Well, unless he knows something that we don't.
She was all over TV.
I know.
Since she worked for him last time.
I
She
know.
became a national name.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would not want that celebrity touring the country saying your name every day.
Right.
That's a bad move. I'm going to tell you this. Warren gave the best answer at the town hall. I give you this on impeachment. Harris was about 20 words too long. So she's got to find some word economy.
She was good on immigration, though, right?
But she was great. She was great there. I think you'll see both of them start to move up a little bit if they keep where they're going. But I think you're going to start to see Bernie Sanders fall if he cannot figure out and get around these issues, because he didn't say a damn thing right there about impeachment. All he said was, if we do it, we're not doing this. We're not doing that. We're not doing that right now anyway. Let's be realistic.
Well, tomorrow they're having a labor union thing in Las Vegas where they're having a bunch of the candidates, but they're not having Biden. I don't think Sanders
I think he got
either.
I think Biden got into it too.
But I think Warren and Harris are going to be there.
Right.
So you're going to see them kind of battle, I think, for a while as to who's going to be the top woman candidate.
So if Warren does win the nomination, and it's possible,
Yeah.
there's some fights to be had. I'm not going to even call them hurdles. There's some fights to be had. Pick a VP.
Well, I think, I don't think it's going to be a two-woman ticket.
No.
So I think you're possibly looking at someone like Julian Castro.
That's a good choice.
And you might be looking at Cory Booker.
Both good choices.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pick Beto.
I would not pick Beto.
I don't see at this point what he brings to a campaign if he's on the ticket.
Yeah, I don't either.
Maybe some extra money, and money's not bad, but
Yeah.
I don't think he could deliver Texas if he came to a ticket. Let me put it to you like that. I'm not sure he could do that.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, I know right now a lot of people have been, they were screaming months ago during the midterms what a great candidate he was, and he looked like he was the rock star. We keep using that term, but I don't know if that died out or if it never was.
Well, we'll talk more, I think, about politics when we get to our Facebook-only section.
Okay.
Because I definitely want to talk about Biden getting into the race and also, some other things that have been happening on the election side of things. But right now, we should take a look at the local news brief and see what's going on around the city. Yeah, let's do that.
This is your NewsRap news brief for Friday, April 26, 2019. Pasadena Media has won the Overall Excellence in Public Education or Government $650,000 to $1 million category for the 2019 Hometown Media Awards. George Filardo, the CEO of the nonprofit, is quoted in Pasadena Now as saying, "I'm immensely proud of our team regarding the announcement of this recognition of our efforts to continue to provide this important community programming for the people of Pasadena." The award is given out by the Alliance for Community Media, which filters through thousands of nationwide submissions. Some of what Pasadena Media provides are weekly broadcastings of city council meetings and a separate channel for the community to practice their freedom of speech via a television platform. Pasadena Police Chief John Perez says he is putting together a volunteer group to perform welfare checks on Pasadena's elderly population, a segment that is particularly at risk for financial scams and fraud. In 2018, Pasadena seniors were targeted by scammers that sought to acquire their personal information, disguising their phones to appear on caller ID as police department numbers. In a Pasadena Now article, Perez is quoted as saying, "Almost all the crimes senior citizens face is fraud. What makes it terrible is many times it is their own family members that do it." The Federal Trade Commission reported in 2012 that individuals over the age of 60 comprise 26% of all fraud complaints. Pasadena is home to approximately 20,000 senior citizens. The Los Angeles Metro Board has committed to completing construction among the barriers that separate freeway lanes from the Gold Line, according to Metro spokesperson Brian Haas. In the past decade, several accidents have sent vehicles flying over the barriers and landing on the tracks of the Metro Gold Line. The Metro Board is looking at upwards of $11 million to make the barriers taller in the hopes of cutting down metro stalls due to vehicular accidents. The construction would take up the HOV lanes as well as an additional general purpose lane, congesting traffic on both the freeway and city streets and cause decreased air quality.
So, congratulations.
Wow.
Pasadena Media.
Big award.
We're so proud of you guys. But we work every week with just the best people.
That's right. That's right.
Just the great crew and the great staff and
Going all the way back to Danielle.
I know. And we probably should mention our executive director, our CEO,
whose picture was not
George
there
Filardo,
for some
whose
reason.
picture was not there.
You and I were there, but he wasn't there.
But he's doing a fantastic job.
Amazing work.
Really building on building the station and creating a really great platform for local and also, as we get to do a little bit of
so maybe we should have
national commentary.
Maybe we should ask for a raise because they didn't win this before we came back.
They would have won it whether we were here or not. No, they're doing just wonderful local programming and morning programming and great interviews and
even working
and
with the
it's a
city
pleasure to be
council.
part of it.
Even working with the city council.
Absolutely, that's right.
A lot of people only get exposure to the city council through the station.
That's right.
So it's really amazing stuff.
Because it's Pasadena Media that won the award, and we have to always remember that there are 4 channels attached to Pasadena Media, because it's not just us, it's the government channel, KPAS, and it's the school channel.
Now, your wife's on the board, so you should know all of this. Sheila's not on the board.
And I was board president
and you were board
for
president
many
at one point.
years,
So,
I know, but I don't specifically remember the call letters for the Pasadena Unified School District.
K-Learn.
K-Learn, that's right, and KPCC.
and yep.
Yeah.
Might be K-Learns, but K-Learn, either way.
K-Learn. Yeah, it's K-Learn.
So
it's
now-
KLRN, yeah.
On that thing with the seniors.
Yeah.
It's a really important story because more and more.
I hear someone
someone's
laughing at us. I know, go ahead.
More and more, it's the seniors who are getting these calls. And, it's somebody saying, hey, your internet's broken or something like that. Turn on your computer, send me your credit card. And unfortunately, some of our seniors fall for these scams.
Really?
Oh, yeah, a lot. So education.
Because they're labeled Pasadena Police Department? Is that
Well, not only even just because
or
they're
are
labeled
something else?
Well, that story was specifically, or the lead of that story was about, and it wasn't a Pasadena Now story, it was a Pasadena Weekly story. But
thanks for making that clear.
no
Ray.
problem.
And did you have anything to do with it?
Funny you should ask that because I wrote it.
Okay.
I don't hear them in there laughing anymore. But,
Okay.
when they get those calls, sometimes people say they're from Microsoft.
Yeah.
And a lot of our seniors are not tech savvy. And they don't understand identity theft the way that,
Sure.
younger people do. A younger person probably just hang up and may not even answer the phone if they don't recognize the number.
And one older person would do the same thing.
Right. You and I both.
that I know too. Yeah.
So it's just something that I think as younger people, we need to educate our seniors on. If your parents are around, got to have talks with them about this stuff so they don't get taken for a ride.
Yeah. I think that's.
Yeah. And it's good to see John Perez is going to do something about it.
So what is he going to do?
He wants to start a task or a committee kind of volunteer thing to do welfare checks on seniors, talk about these issues, talk about real estate fraud. Okay. A lot of times when these things happen, it's family members who pull off these scams. So they're kind of trying to do an educational tour to start.
The family members pull off scams on their own family?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Where you been, man? I mean, yeah.
That's nasty.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So, it's education time.
Well, that's always the best start, right?
Yeah.
Because so much of the time, it's just a lack of knowledge, a lack of information that
And
causes
understanding the
people not to
technology.
know how to deal with it. Yeah.
I don't even pick up my phone if I don't recognize the number.
Yeah, I don't either.
I got a call today. It said Maryland.
I've missed some important calls that way, but no. But I figured they'll leave a voicemail if they want me, really,
So let's get back to goose stock.
Okay, so goose stock. Well, we don't have a whole lot of time, but yeah, we can answer this before we go to Facebook. He says, I'm calling it now. DNC is going to put Joe in the fight for no good reason, just like they did with Hillary. Well, a couple of thoughts on that. There is a tiny similarity between the people that want Biden and the people that want Hillary in this sense. They're doing this calculation. Who can win?
Who has the best chance?
Who can make the electoral map work, and who can do this and who can do that? And they all decided it was Hillary last time, while Sanders was really kind of kicking butt in the Midwest and in the Rust Belt and really doing incredibly well in those primaries. But Hillary was kind of, she was the heir apparent, okay?
And she knew it.
And she knew it. So they're going to try to treat Biden that way. Do you think they're going to get away with it?
No. I think if Biden gets the nomination, I think whoever gets the nomination will get it after the fight of their life. And Hillary may prove a point here. She might prove a point. Question. How many points did Hillary, popular vote, how many points did she win by? How many votes did she win by?
She won by 3 million.
3 million.
Yeah.
Do you think whoever, if Biden beats Trump or any Democrat beats Trump, are they going to do it by 3 million votes?
I would hope more.
Do you think it's going to happen that way, though? Or do you think it's unlikely? See?
I think it's somewhat likely that it'll be more.
I think it's probably unlikely.
I think between now and then he self-destructs. That's just my
feeling.
feeling.
You have a good point. I'm still not even sure he's going to be in office between now and then.
Yeah.
However, I think it'll be the fight of somebody's life, and I think, 2 million might be the margin of victory. I don't know if they're going to win with the span that she won.
Well, see, they're thinking a lot about Clinton, Bill Clinton, and that impeachment, and they're thinking that, that somehow that backfired.
Oh, that's completely wrong.
Well, it backfired in one sense, which was we didn't get Gore, right? Gore got the popular vote again, lost the electoral vote.
But it didn't backfire for the Republicans.
Well, we don't know if he lost the electoral vote.
Right.
The Supreme Court said to stop counting, so we don't know if he lost
But there was no backlash against the Republicans for impeaching Bill Clinton.
I know.
The Republicans kept Congress for a full decade.
Yeah. That's right.
After that.
We have to continue this conversation on Facebook.
All right.
By the way, speaking of Facebook, follow us on Facebook at NewsRap Pass. And you can also catch old episodes on the Pasadena Media YouTube channel.
Like it.
So we're going to be with you on YouTube, but that's it for our live stream.
That's right.
So I'm Barry Gordon.
I'm Andre Coleman.
This has been NewsRap. See you next week.
All right.